Hi, I'm Beck. I'm a psychologist, and I'll be talking today about the difference between thoughts, feelings, or emotions, and frequencies. So they all hold different information. Now, you might have heard in the spiritual field that as we go through this process, it's quite necessary to detach from the outcome of what you perceive or what you think should happen. Now, all well and good. Well, any spiritual teacher worth their weight will be saying detach from the outcome. What they mean by that is the information that comes to us through that point of stillness, through that presence that you have cultivated through meditation. And this is a little bit more of an advanced practice. So you need a solid base of practicing mindfulness or practicing presence or have a relationship with a meditative practice. Once you've established yourself in that relationship with meditative practice, what happens is you start to have a command over time. And what I mean by that is you start to have space between feelings, thoughts. You start to be able to pull it apart, like if it's a ball of wool all tightly wound up. When you come into mindfulness, the space, like you might massage that ball of wool, and space will start to appear between the threads, and in between those threads, that's where the information starts to surface. So the communication from your soul starts to reveal itself. Now those communications come in frequencies. All right, so this is what it means to detach from the outcome, because our minds, which are the operation system we have to navigate our lives, this human form, it's all we've got. But it's like decoding a really cryptic sort of unknown language that you're constantly having to learn as you go in real time. Our minds don't speak soul. So it's a lot of guesswork. So when these frequencies come and they arise out of that space you create in your ball of wool, it starts to come out. They will come out in frequencies. And so those are feelings in your body. And I don't mean feelings as emotions. Emotions are separate. Don't get caught up in them. That's a trap. Frequencies are more direct communications through your body, through felt senses of openness or inspiration, or just openings in channels that you'll feel. So as those communications come through, that's when our minds come online, and that's when our minds make a story about what that communication means. And this is where, if you haven't detached from the outcome, you'll put a lot of weight into the thought. Now, what you've got to understand about thoughts they are guesswork. They are guesswork in interpreting the frequency that is arising out of that still point. And so often they come from events that have come before, almost like a standard answer, stock standard answer to a question that you've been right all these other times, so it must be that. So you just grab that. It's the easiest one. It's the quickest one. It's right there. Not always right. It's not always a true interpretation. And so this is where, when you can really detach from those thoughts, you can start to go, just because that's been my response every other time, in my assumption that that's what that frequency means for me, maybe that's not all true. So, for example, you might have a frequency of movement that you'll feel sort of carries you. It's like an upward carrying you forward, and automatically the thought is, got to take action, got to do something, got to, bring that into busyness. Okay, so that's your automatic interpretation. The thought is, I've got to take action here. As you tease apart that wool, that ball of wool, and you get more space, and you can sit with that frequency of movement that comes through, you can start to play with that instead of the thought coming through, oh, that means I have to do this task, because you've got that burst of energy, and then your brain goes, must mean do this task. Have a play with the space between the frequency. What else is that inviting? What if, instead of then immediately channeling that into an outside activity, you sort of let it move around in there, and let more reveal itself about that, what that frequency is inviting from you. So everything's a lot slower in this process. There's a lot of do less in this exploration, because in the doing less, what you're really doing is you're doing more in terms of you're massaging that ball of wool with your awareness and breeding more space to have more information be able to move through you. And when I say information, I mean frequencies start to run through your body. And then you can practice not attaching a thought to them immediately, just exploring them as frequencies. Okay, so most likely what those frequencies are going to be doing, they're going to be integrating parts of yourself that you've ostracized, shunned, or haven't even known to be true about yourself. But here they are, to be danced with, to be explored, to be moved through your body. This is quite a slow process, and it is not a mind-based process. There is actually no mind involved, because these frequencies, they have no words, they're non-verbal. The process of moving this energy is all a felt dance. So just like dance, no words, no intellect, just a free-flowing moment by moment interpretation of the music that's moving through you. So have a practice with out of the mind into the free flow of energy without attaching a thought to what that might mean. Good luck.